Hello, welcome. We are here live at Cascumpec Bay Oyster Company here on 80 Trout River in beautiful Prince Edward Island, Canada's Food Island. We're joined today by the amazing owner and founder of Cascumpec Bay Oyster Company, Martin O'Brien. Martin, thanks for giving us a tour today. It's absolutely gorgeous out here.
No problem. Thanks for coming by.
Great. So, you can drive in here. You can also get your Cascumpec Bay Oyster. So maybe just tell us a little bit about, why did you start this company?
Well, I was farming oysters with my father back in he started farming oysters in '07, around there. I was still in university, so I was just helping him out in the summers and that sort of thing. So then when I graduated, it was really tough economic times there, or then, and so I came back to the oyster farm, worked again for a year or so, and then I decided that I wanted to farm oysters. So did that, worked alongside my parents, and helped each other out, that sort of thing. Expanded the farm a little bit, and then 2 or 3 years after that, a small processing plant came on the market, and I was able to purchase that and start packing our own oysters to customers at that time it was just in Ontario.
Right.
So then we started out with Cascumpec Bay Oysters. That was our brand. I named the company Cascumpec Bay Oyster Company. That was in 2012, so this is 10 years now. And then gradually expanded markets. We added a brand. And then eventually 2019 built this place, a brand new plant in Trout River. We're selling almost in every province of Canada, and then we do quite a bit in the US too. So
that's awesome.
And we certainly, in the future, would like to expand into a little bit into Europe, a little bit into Asia, and go from there.
Great. So if they want to learn more about your Cascumpec Bay Oyster Company, where would we go to learn? Where's your website? What's your social handles?
We have a website, cascumpecbayoysterco.com, and then from there, our social handles are from
awesome.
there. Yeah,
great. So make sure you check that out. Go online and check that out. And what's so cool is if you're on Prince Edward Island, here you can actually come visit Martin yourself and come buy your oysters right here, which is amazing. All right, now for an exclusive sneak peek. I'm sure you're dying to see what goes on behind the scenes, so let's go check it out. Okay, we've got our hairnets on, we've soaked our feet, we're ready here. Martin, take us through the processing of Cascumpec Bay Oysters.
Yep, so this is the packing room.
Yeah.
So when the oysters get here, they've gone through a lot of steps. So they've been graded, counted, they've been sunk on the bottom of the lease for a certain number of days. And they either rot directly here or they go in their wet storage tanks.
Okay.
And then here we're simply putting them through the washer. We're giving them another once over, looking for oysters that they're at the right size, or maybe they're dead, or we have to clean them up a little more. We run them through the washer. We put them in a box. We tag them, and we fulfill our orders. We put them on pallets and ship them mostly by truck to markets all across the country and in the US.
Great. I just love seeing how clean it is in here. I know this is quite busy with all those orders you got going on. All right, where are we going to go check out next?
Well, we'll go check out the wet storage tanks.
Awesome.
That's kind of one of the cooler parts of the operation.
Awesome.
Yep.
Cooler, no pun intended. Let's go. You guys are doing a lot of great stuff. So clean. Oh wow, these are your big tanks. Awesome.
Yeah, so these are the wet storage tanks. We have one empty right now. We just emptied it a couple days ago, so we're just cleaning it, stuff there now. This one we just have a few oysters in it right now. They go in and out quite a bit, so pretty high turnover there. But in the winter time, we can stock up both tanks. We can hold, about a month or a month and a half worth of oysters in our tank. So that kind of makes it easier, or helps out with ice situations out there. We can pick nice days to do our ice harvest, bring a whole bunch in at once, and then store them in our tanks. And we can control the temperatures in here so we can keep them dormant and in good shape for that time. And then in the summertime, we have the temperature elevated a little more, so we're allowing those oysters to filter freely, get some really clean water, and then they're, ready to ship after that.
Come check this out, everyone. Oyster Bay Oysters means they have lots in supply to meet your demand. Oh yeah.
UV light that kills bacteria, and then we have a protein skimmer that removes bacteria. So they both do the same job essentially, but they work hand in hand and provide really clean water. Yeah. So it was technology that wasn't commonly used here at all. It's more common in Europe. So there's certainly some kinks to work out at the beginning, but now it's a pretty important part of our operation.
Oysters, good for you and good for us. We're here in the grading room, and you were just mentioning that you used to do all of this grading out on the water. That must have been insane.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about what are we seeing and what happens in here.
Well, this is the grading line, so it's a vision grader. So what it does, there's a camera in it. It takes a picture of each oyster and measures that oyster, and then it deflects it into the bins, according to the size. So it certainly speeds it up. I mean, when I started, we would dump a tray of oysters on the table, and we would go through each and every oyster. I mean, that's how people did it for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
You grade each oyster one by one. Now, I mean, there are some manual aspects to it still. You still have to look them over, pick out shell, and, certain things. But for the most part, the grader does all the measuring for you, and you can do way more oysters in a day.
Wow.
So it's a cool piece of technology. We've had it for about 6 years or a little more now, and it certainly helped with scaling up. It allowed us, anytime we did go to scale up slightly, it was key to allowing us to do that.
That's awesome. So how many oysters are graded here in a day or a week?
In a day, we can do upwards of 35,000, 40,000 oysters in a day. Mostly we're doing 25,000 or so. Wow. But yeah, we can certainly crank it up if we need to.
Let's go check out that deck, shall we? All right, we're back here. So Martin, tell us a little bit about this gorgeous deck that I'm seeing in this beautiful picturesque location.
Yeah, so this is the Oyster Deck. It's on our property here at the plant. It's on Trout River, which connects to our oyster farm
so cool.
About 5 kilometers away. And yeah, it's something we built. We started it last summer. We're just finishing it up now. We're going to be hosting people here for oyster tasting experiences. Nice. We're also partnering with a private chef, so you'd be able to book an oyster tasting experience.
So I can get my friends together and book a private experience? Wow, so how do I learn more about that?
Just keep an eye on our website.
Okay.
This is ongoing for us, so best thing to do is keep an eye on the website. Okay. And we'll have all the information there on how to do that.
Awesome. Well, let's go check out this deck. Isn't this gorgeous? I just love all these oyster details.
Here is that obviously we're set up to do raw shucked oysters, but we've got our lovely barbecue, so we can do barbecued oysters. Ooh, which are becoming more and more popular everywhere. And Jenny had made a compound butter. You can make up your own other little recipes that you like. You can use a little bit of all you do is you just take a little bit of compound butter, put it on the oyster like that, right? And then, nice. Right? And then another thing that I like to do is I have a little rum butter barbecue sauce, right?
That sounds delicious.
Same type of thing. You just put a little smidgen of butter on the oyster first. You don't want to, same as the compound butter, you don't want to overdo it because it's gonna take over the oyster flavor. And then this is, you know, my own little barbecue sauce, and I use a nice spiced rum in there as well.
Nice.
And then these get transferred over to the barbecue. Right, it doesn't take long. All you're basically wanting to do is the butter will melt and then bubble up a bit. So you just kind of rest that on there. This out. Wait a few minutes.